I want to switch gears real quick. We've got just a little time left. I want to ask you about something that's capturing headlines and the news stories across the country, and it is dealing with Duck Dynasty. A&E's program, Duck Dynasty, is under a lot of fire. The patriarch of this show, Phil Robertson, became under fire. He did an interview with GQ magazine, as you're aware, over some controversial remarks he made about gay people and the homosexual community. And he made the statements based on this is his religious belief. His belief in God and his Bible teachings are the foundation for his comments about homosexuals, and it has led to a huge backfire. They've suspended him from the show. His family stands behind him. A lot of on the internet, folks have come out against him, but overwhelmingly, people are standing by him and say they'll boycott the show until he goes back on. What are your thoughts on how this has really erupted into such a controversial issue?
Alice, I love Duck Dynasty like so many Arkansans and Americans. In fact, during this Christmas season, I've been listening to their holiday CD, things like Duck the Holes and Have a Very Merry Christmas. But the reason so many people love that show is because it stands for so much of what America stands for on their day-to-day life. You know, they end every show with a family meal and a prayer. That's a side of America that the Hollywood and D.C. liberals oftentimes ignore or, in fact, disrespect. You don't have to agree with everything you see on TV to say that people should not be fired or suspended from their job for expressing their own personal religious faith or their own views. There's lots of stuff with which I disagree that I see on TV or read in magazines, and I don't go around calling for people's heads at their jobs.
And his comments, as he said, were his views, and this wasn't an interview. It wasn't on the show. It was an off-camera interview with GQ, and it was a big spread. And in my view, the press person should have never agreed to that interview to begin with. But A&E at first came out and acknowledged his personal views in no way reflect those of A&E, yet still they are placing him on hiatus from filming. And in my view, this is the Hollywood and the homosexual community coming to outrage once again against, in my view, someone who is expressing their Christian views. And this is more of a war on Christianity that we see time and time again.
It is a good point, Alice, that these views were not expressed on the show. They were done outside the workplace, you might say, and therefore, they are not directly related to his work on the show, and he's being punished at his workplace for expressing his Christian faith.
And just what would be your suggestion? Put him back on the show and let things move forward?
I know the family has issued a statement that they would find it very hard for the show to move forward without Phil Robertson on the show, since he's the patriarch of the entire family and the business. So we'll see what A&E intends to do. I do think it's somewhat ironic that A&E made a big stink about suspending him from the show, yet they're still running the show. They're running Christmas specials. They're running marathons of the show, so they certainly don't mind profiting off of what has become one of America's most beloved shows, even while they're catering to the Hollywood left and D.C. liberals. Yeah,
they talking out of both sides of their mouth, for sure. Congressman Tom Cotton, thank you so much for your thoughts and comments on Iran, as well as weighing in on the Duck Dynasty controversy. Congressman, thank you, and have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you and all your listeners.
Thank you. We'll take a break. We'll be back after this.